Now, let's brew ancient Phoenix Breakaway Bar fermented purer. As described earlier, torrential water is the best water for brewing this high-quality ancient tea tree fermented purer tea in order to keep your kidneys and bladder working smoothly in winter and increase the focus of your energy. This ancient Phoenix Breakaway Bar fermented purer is a typical purer pressed into the convenient breakaway chocolate bar style package. Fermented purer teas are very commonly pressed into many different shapes in order to store and age them for a long time so they can increase in quality and value. This ancient tea tree Phoenix Breakaway Bar has been aged over 6 years now and has a truly unique, rich, velvety espresso, unsweetened chocolate, and a licorice flavor and smell. Now, let's see how we use one very important utensil, the tea needle, to break apart this fermented purer bar. Because it has been pressed into a nice chocolate bar shape, each small bar is around 8 to 10 grams, which is just the right quantity for one brewing. So you only need to use the tea needle to break apart the bar based on the existing small bar shapes. When brewing fermented purer, it's always good to use an artisanal 建水 purple pottery teapot. Artisan 建水 purple pottery teapot are world-class both in design, exclusion, and in particular use for brewing teas. 建水 teapots are suitable for brewing all kinds of tea, but are particularly suitable for teas that require higher brewing temperatures. Based on this pressed, fermented purer, it needs a high water temperature to be washed and open up. So be sure to always boil the water at the highest temperature your evaluation allows. I'm using 97 degrees Celsius boiled water to brew this tea, and be sure to repeatedly pour the boiled water directly onto the tea so that you can transfer as much heat as possible into the teapot to make the pressed tea bar open up faster. I'm holding the kettle in a high position to pour the water into the teapot with a long stream and a fast speed, which imitates the movements of the torrential water found in nature, such as waterfall. Fill the teapot with boiled water and cover the lid to prevent cool air from entering the teapot. This way, the pressed purer tea can be opened up faster. To wake up the pressed fermented purer tea, you only need to wait a few seconds, then pour the liquid out right away. Please pay attention to how I pour the liquid from the teapot into fair cup. First, you can bring the teapot close to the edge of the tea filter. Once you find a point to aim the liquid at, raise your teapot until your shoulder and your arm are on the same level. You then only need to bend your wrist very slightly to control the pouring speed. When the liquid is coming out at the fastest speed, raising your arm up higher than your shoulder will naturally create a longer stream of water. When the amount of the liquid coming out decreases, lower your teapot close to the edge of the tea filter. But I always make sure not to pour the liquid directly onto the filter. Always pour the liquid on the wall of the tea filter. Now, you can see that the tea liquid of the first brew has already achieved a good color. We use this first pour to wash the teaware and to smell the aroma of the tea. High-quality fermented pu'er should have a pure, smooth, unsweetened chocolate aroma. Some low-quality fermented pu'er might taste moldy, which can be very harmful for your health. Now, let's wash the tea a second time. For a good quality pressed fermented pu'er, if the quantity you are brewing is over 8 to 10 grams, the more you brew it, the darker the liquid should get. Also, when you see the tea liquid getting darker on the second or third brew, that means it's ready to already open up completely and is ready for drinking. Now, as we can see, this tea liquid has already turned darker after the second infusion, which means the leaves are already totally open up. One thing worth mentioning here is that if you brew a pressed fermented pu'er in quantities above 8 grams or more, after you wash it 2 to 3 times, and the tea liquid still looks very light, there are a few possible reasons. First, you may not have used a high enough temperature of boiled water, as 100 degrees Celsius is the best to brew the tea. Second, the tea leaves being used are old, low-quality tea. The older the leaf, the lighter the flavor and the lower the quality of the tea you get from it. Third, from when you start brewing until the last brewing, if the tea liquid never changed from light to dark, then back to light again, then the tea quality is low, or when the tea was produced, something went wrong during the fermentation process. Now, fill the teacup with the liquid from the fair cup. After you fill the teacup, you should check the liquid in the fair cup. Since before there was a high quantity of liquid, we weren't able to see through the fair cup to see if the color of the liquid was right. After pouring out about half of the liquid, you can now see that the tea liquid is actually not completely dark. It's a dark red color with a golden ring. If you can see this kind of color, your fermented pu'er will be high quality of pu'er. Pour a little bit of liquid onto your teapot. Don't forget to pour the tea liquid on your teapot too. In Chinese, we have an important concept called 养壶, which means nourishing your teapot. When using high-quality teapot, we usually only use specific teapots to brew specific teas. Never use the same teapot to brew different type of tea. The two most common and best material for making teapot are clay or pottery, which both easily absorb the tea aroma. If you use the same teapot to brew the same specific tea for a long time, gradually, even when inside the teapot is empty, it will still carry the aroma of the tea you brew in it. But to achieve this result, you need to constantly use the teapot to brew a specific tea and keep nourishing the teapot with the tea liquid for a long time. This is a major reason some high-quality old teapots which have been used for quite a long time are even more expensive than the new teapot. That's because extra value has been added to them that the new teapot can't possibly have. Now we can brew the tea for drinking. Fill the teapot with boiled water using the torrential flowing water method like I'm doing. Pour the boiled water on the outside of the teapot to let the inside and outside water temperature reach the same level, which will brew out more of nutrition from the tea. Again, find a point on the wall of the tea filter you'll feel comfortable with. Concentrate on that point and pour out the tea liquid to hit that point on the wall of the tea filter. Once I pour the liquid onto the wall of the tea filter, it won't drop directly into the fire cup. Due to gravity and the rotational force, the tea liquid starts to spread in two directions and rotates by following the shape of the funnel tea filter. Then collides on the other side and falls down into the fire cup like a small waterfall. So using the torrential flowing water method, we have created at least 4 waterfalls. The first is water pouring from the kettle to the teapot. The second is the liquid poured out from the teapot onto the tea filter. The third is a small waterfall flowing the shape of the tea filter. And the last is made by pouring the tea liquid from the fire cup into your teacup. Now, I want to show you a utensil lots of people aren't sure how to use. This is a tea pin. The tea pins are a small utensil which looks like a needle and are used to clear and block the tea from the spout of the teapot. If you noticed, during the previous 2 brews, after brewing out the tea liquids, I didn't open the lid of the teapot. Since I'm brewing the pressed fermented pu'er tea, for any kind of a tea pressed into shape, when you wash them, after pouring out the liquid, there is no need to open the lid of the teapot, as we want to keep the heat inside so that tea can open and be ready to be drunk faster. Now, after the leaves have totally opened up, we should open the lid of the teapot to let the heat out. This will keep the leaves fresh inside the teapot for continued brewing. Otherwise, we could overheat the leaves and influence the flavor of the next brew. Pour the previous tea liquid from the teacup. gently turning the fair cup to show the liquid to your audience or clients. Now, let's create one more waterfall, pouring the liquid into teacup. Since the teacup is small, at this step, we need to find the right position and a comfortable height to pour the liquid. The secret to keeping a tight stream of water when pouring from high is, a good quality fair cup is designed with a very sharply shaped spout. Without a good spout design, no matter how good your technique, it will still very difficult to keep the stream from the spreading out. Another secret is, before you pour the liquid, again, find the right point in the teacup. Relax your shoulder, adjust your breath to an even speed, and pour the liquid without hesitation. To enjoy the taste of fermented pu'er, notice 3 important things. First, check the aroma before you drink it. High-quality fermented pu'er shouldn't have any moldiness or unpleasant smell. Second, high-quality fermented pu'er should taste very smooth. It can sometimes even taste like velvety espresso or carry the taste of unsweetened chocolate. Any feeling of your throat being blocked or dryness of the tongue after swallowing the liquid may indicate that the quality of the pu'er is low or it wasn't fermented properly. Third, after you swallow the liquid, wait about 1 to 2 minutes, feeling the changes in your mouth. If you feel a nice, smooth sweetness similar to the liquor's flavor coming back to your tongue, that means you have a top-quality pu'er. In Chinese slang, we say, "Don't be afraid to know nothing about tea. Try any teas you can and pay attention to every single detail of each tea you try, and compare them carefully. Gradually, you will become a master of tea."